here. Going to talk to you about live Q&A, about questions, about answers, health stuff, anything you got going on, pop that down below. And I'm so excited to talk to you about these things today because why? It's affecting you. It's affecting a loved one. It's affecting somebody in your life, or you're feeling horrible and you need answers. And there are answers. I'm going to tell you this. There are answers, and the answers are not finding the right drug. The answers are not having the right surgery. The answers are not going through and going on some crazy diet. Those are not the answers. The answers are truly uncovering the why, uncovering the root causes that are contributing to why you or a loved one are feeling the way that you are. So pop down below where you guys are watching from. Love to see you all over the country, all over the world. If you have not already, we've got a TikTok page now as well. Brittany, go ahead and pop that link down below. And so these are for those of you that I've for years have heard you talk too long, you blabber on. Cut it down, shorten it down, quit saying hi to people. We hear it all. And so here's the deal. TikTok, I can only go for 3 minutes. So a lot of my content is shortened, abbreviated for those of you that do not have a lot of time. Hey, Christy, good to see you. Jump on the TikTok as well. And you can ask questions on there. I respond to those with video content as well. So just one more platform, one more way to get information out there, guys. So again, one of the things that we've been talking about is Danica Patrick, and people have had questions on this. Is okay, now that I've had my implants removed, I'm feeling a little bit better, but I am still sick. So here's the deal. What happened? Danica Patrick, she was NASCAR race car driver, one of the first females, maybe even the first female that ever raced for NASCAR. She would remember those Super Bowl videos with GoDaddy and all that stuff. Pretty lady, kind of this poster child of NASCAR. But she ended up, I think it was in 2013, 2014, having breast implants, thinking, hey, this is going to make me look like that great female, the perfect body, all those things, and just all that pressure, everything. And what happened, by 2018, she had started having some significant degeneration in her health, and thyroid issues, weight gain, hair loss, inflammation, fatigue, basically gave up her career in NASCAR, and it was because of her health challenges. And now she's 40 years old. She just had those implants removed. But here's the deal. Somebody could get out of their moldy house. Somebody could have a Lyme bite and we actually kill it off. Somebody could have explants removed, or maybe you had some implants in your teeth, area in your jaw, all these different things, and you take it away. You get out of that moldy house, but the inflammatory process has still been stimulated in your body. Guys, go ahead and pop any questions down below. I'm just going through some that we have had this week. Some pretty amazing questions, a lot of health issues going on out there. And so Danica Patrick had those removed and is now working on a lot of these health issues from that functional medicine approach. And so if you have had issues like this, whether that's a moldy house, whether that's a Lyme disease, whether that's you were exposed to chemicals, whatever it is, even if you're out of that situation, even if your body's been removed from that toxic load, the inflammatory immune response has still been stimulated and needs to be calmed down. And so that's where you've got to come in. And in a couple weeks, we'll be doing a live 1-hour autoimmune webinar. June 14th, I believe, we'll be doing that one. And we will be going through each and every step of calming down that autoimmune reaction. Tonight, I'm doing a live webinar on long COVID, and same thing. Somebody had COVID virus goes away, 2, 3, 4 weeks, that virus is gone out of the body. And yet what we're seeing now is that so many people, this immune inflammatory cascade has been stimulated and it needs to be calmed down. You've got to get your body into that better state. So great, we're going to jump in here. Any remedy for Candida? This is Elizabeth. Great to see you. Again, pop those questions down below, guys. And anything and everything that you got going on, we will get through those. I'll stay as long as we have questions. Any remedy for Candida? So it depends where it is. Candida is everywhere. If you did a plate mold test and just had air dropping down and settling, those spores settling onto that plate, you would see candida in a lot of places. Candida can be up in your nasal passage, it can be in your mouth, vaginal area, in your digestive tract, all these different places. And you've got to figure out ultimately, why is your body depleted enough that it is not able to deal with that. Just like toenail fungus. Why do people have toenail fungus? It's because their immune system, their circulation, their body is not strong enough to keep that down. You could have 10 people walk through the same water at the gym, and there's some type of foot fungus, something going on in there, and not all of them would get that. Some of them would, maybe 1 or 2 or 3, but it's those that have the decreased immune system. So the first thing, Elizabeth, before I go into kill off and any of those things, you've got to get your body as strong as possible, because that's going to be a way better means of keeping that at bay than just doing some kill off. But for those of you that still have that and are working on your body and getting strong, what we use every single day with patients, Brittany, go ahead and pop down that link for the Oregano Max, and what we do with patients, pretty high dose. We'll do like three times a day with people, pretty high dose, kill off the bad stuff. After a bottle of that, we'll bring in a good probiotic, and possibly need to do that 2 or 3 times, depending on how intense that yeast overgrowth is. So looking at the tongue is a great way to do that. And if you see white coating on the tongue, there's a very good chance that you've got some candida. So great question there. And we've got Camille, great to see you. Remedies for gout. So here's the deal. Where does gout come from in the first place? Why do we have gout? Do this for me. Google uric acid crystals, URIC, uric acid crystals, and search that, and then look at pictures, and you'll see why this hurts. These uric acid crystals are like these spikes that settle into your joints, and so a lot of times it's the toe joint, foot joint, and if you are having gout symptoms, it's because you have this uric acid in your joints. But ultimately, why? Why would the body settle uric acid in those joints? I don't have uric acid settling in my joints. And so what we look at is can we get to the root cause? And when you look for these things, you've got to say, okay, what makes uric acid go up? And what I know is, and there's physiological reasons and kidneys and detoxification and stuff like that. But what I know looking at blood work for over 20 years is that if I see ferritin high, if I see C-reactive protein high, if somebody's insulin resistant, if their liver enzymes are going high, if they have metabolic syndrome, prediabetes, these things, guess what is also high? Uric acid. And I know after working with thousands and thousands of patients that at 3-month follow-up blood work, 6-month follow-up blood work, if somebody's ferritin gets better and their C-reactive protein gets better and their insulin resistance gets better and their liver enzymes get better, their uric acid gets better as well. So the remedy for gout is to fix somebody's underlying metabolic syndrome, underlying liver stress, underlying inflammatory conditions. Yes, you can do things like black cherry extract and do a shot of that every day. You can drink lots of water, do cold laser therapy, hot and cold baths with your feet, all those things that are going to be temporary fixes. Even the allopurinol drug, the medication you can use, all these things. But if you're not fixing that why, you're just band-aiding it, and it's going to come back, and it's going to come back, and it's going to come back. So if you fix the why, uric acid and gout is actually great. If somebody has that, I am happy, because it is an outward symptom that is showing people you better take massive action in your health. And that is what symptoms are. Symptoms are not meant to be covered up. Symptoms are meant to tell you to do something different. So thank you for that question there, Camille. And Marla, oh, so sweet. The Geiger Method is so appreciated. Thank you for your life's work, doctor. You are so welcome. I love getting the information out there. There was another question. if you have Epstein-Barr virus, are you at a higher risk for long COVID symptoms? So this was a question somebody had earlier this week for us. So here's the deal. Potentially, and what the research is showing, and we're going to get way into this tonight, 6 p.m. Mountain Time. We've got a Zoom link. There's a link down below. And so what we see is that if people have had Epstein-Barr in the past and have this chronic viral sitting in their body, what happens with COVID is, for a lot of people that have long COVID, they did a study where they tested people that were having long COVID symptoms, and the majority had reactivated Epstein-Barr, where those that weren't having any long COVID symptoms, it was only like 5 or 10% had reactivated Epstein-Barr. So the majority of people that we've seen that are having long COVID symptoms have had some other inflammatory, some other immune response happen in their body. And so a lot of them, it's actually that Epstein-Barr. Epstein-Barr virus is the monovirus. And if you've had mono, you know it's not fun. You're tired and you're run down, you're sleeping all the time, you can't think right, all these issues. So what we know is that those that have Epstein-Barr virus reactivated after they've had COVID are much more likely to have long COVID symptoms, and we're going to get deep into that tonight. So again, keep asking your questions down below. Lisa, thanks for the share there. And I'm going to go through a couple other questions here we've had a bunch on TikTok that we've been answering. So one of them was about pregnenolone. And somebody was asking, hey, I have high pregnenolone, what does that mean? Well, remember, we've talked about this a lot, where cholesterol can go down this pathway and turn into cortisol, which is fight or flight, or it can go down this way and turn into testosterone, estrogen, reproduction hormones. And what happens in today's day and age, where we're in this chronic fight or flight, and what we see is that we are going to be pulling and stealing the hormones over to that cortisol and not going to make the testosterone and ultimately into that estrogen, and hormones get out of balance, all of those issues. So if you see a really high pregnenolone in your blood work, or even a high progesterone, especially in a guy, or if you see a really low DHEA, those are going to be telling us that your body is trying to make a whole lot of cortisol, and you need to get out of that fight or flight response. The two big things that we see that are contributing to this fight or flight, this cortisol overload, this stealing of testosterone ultimately, and it's the number one reason why we see low testosterone in women, is that one is blood sugar swings, especially dips. Every time your blood sugar dips down, if you get tired, spacey, hangry, cranky, that drop, then you are going to rev up your adrenal glands and create more stress in your body. Number two is what we see in the brain map. And a brain map is a quantitative EEG, put a cap on the scalp and little sensors, and we're detecting the electrical activity. And what we're looking for is certain brain waves are going to have higher or lower patterns. And if they do, we will see certain effects coming from that. So we've got to go through and make sure that then with neurofeedback, we can actually calm down that brain pattern. So the real big thing that we're looking at is you've got to get out of that fight or flight. If you've got high pregnenolone, if you've got high progesterone, if you've got low DHEA, low testosterone, we'll see women less than 2.5. If you're on testosterone replacement therapy, you may feel good for a month or two, but it is not going to be a long-term fix. Let's go here. How do I see you if I'm not located close to you? Somebody just asked that one as well. Sent that into Brittany. So here's the deal. We work with patients all over the country, all over the world. We have offices in Colorado, in Tennessee, and then we work remotely. So we have people, they'll drive in from 8-hour circumference from all of our offices, and then we'll do brain map, blood work, exam, everything. But if you're not able to get into the office, we are able to drop ship blood work with you anywhere in the country. Camille, anything you can do to improve remove fibroids. So fibroids really have a couple reasons why we see those fibroids. Some of them are going to be related to metabolic syndrome. And if somebody has insulin resistance, if they're having these blood sugar imbalances, swings, highs and lows, that can create this fibroid activity in the body. The other thing that we look for is it can actually be an iodine deficiency, and people need more iodine, and that can help dissolve those fibroids as well. Elizabeth, just got your book, Blood Sugar Doesn't Lie. That's what it's called. Brittany, you can pop that link on Amazon. Loved it. Great info. Yeah, super easy read on there and really good. So again, guys, pop your questions down below. Anything you've got, I'll stay here as long as we have questions. Ella, good to see you. Yep, we came to Tennessee and yes. So, here's the deal. Thanks for coming to Tennessee. And it depends on the number of people in the family, depends on how intense the cases are, if we have brain work to do these things. And so, for some families, Ella, it makes more sense to prioritize and say, hey, we're going to work on this person and then we're going to work on that person. Sometimes even doing shorter programs, Ella, is going to be a great place to start and just get the ball rolling, and then you can always do more down the road as well. But shoot me a direct message if you want to talk with me personally. Leave your number with Brittany, and I'll give you a call, and we can talk through some strategies as to how you can get your health back. Pamela, how do we nourish our kidney function? So here's the deal. Nourishing kidney function is really, really important. The kidneys, they're a big part of our detoxification process. And so one of my favorite, if you're just looking at straight up, what can I drink every day for that? A juice. If you have a juicer, you make that with celery. There's parsley. There is cucumber in there. You can do a few other vegetables in there, but those are the three big ones. And drink a good 6 to 8 ounces a day of that. You can make a whole bunch of it and leave it in the fridge for a few days and drink on that. But that's going to be great. Extra water is going to be helpful. But if you're just drinking a bunch of water, a gallon a day, you've got to replace electrolytes. The Celtic sea salt is going to be the first place to start for that. It's the cheapest, it's the easiest. Take an extra pinch, get at least a teaspoon a day. If you're drinking a gallon of water a day, you have to replenish those electrolytes. And Brenda, do you prefer people travel to see you versus shipping blood work to you? So, in an ideal world, I would say, hey, come in, we'll do a brain map, we'll do blood work, we'll do a comprehensive exam with you right in front of us, everything. And yet we've seen phenomenal changes working with people remotely. So if you, and the nice part is we've got an office in Denver. A lot of people go to Denver, fly in to go skiing or go hiking in the mountains or whatever. And another office in Nashville, and so a lot of people go to Nashville for various things. It's a good good excuse to get a weekend away, things like that. So either one of those are great destination spots. But if you don't have that ability, we definitely can get a lot of good things done remotely and virtually, and we can even find people close to you. And be able to say, hey, let's go through this process of getting a brain map done, but even close, there may be somebody close by, and we've got a list of offices that we can do that, and then do even neurofeedback remotely. Ella, absolutely. Brittany, if you can DM with Ella and get her number, I will call her right after this call this morning. So, Jennifer, for how long can you suffer from Epstein-Barr? My mom's best friend has been dealing with it for years now. At least her doctor says every time that she goes with symptoms that this is always the course and there is nothing else he can, I think we cut off there, he can do. So here's the deal. Epstein-Barr, COVID goes away. Epstein-Barr does not. It's kind of like the chickenpox virus, and people get shingles down the road. Epstein-Barr is still going to be in the body, and hopefully it's going to be suppressed. But here's the deal. Why do people get shingles? Well, because their immune system gets depleted, they get stressed out enough, they get run down, and then boom, this virus gets revved up. And same thing with Epstein-Barr. So if somebody's not taking care of themselves and not getting their body as strong as possible and building up every system, then you can have Epstein-Barr symptoms, and you can be suffering, like you said, suffering from Epstein-Barr your entire life. So yes, you need to look at lysine and immune support and different antivirals and things like that. And yet, the best antiviral you have is your own body. It's your own immune system. And so you've got to look at those things that are depleting the immune system. And if you're not addressing those, then there's no amount of lysine or NAC or things like that that are going to fix it. Hope that helps. And Jacob Leah, hi doctor, is there a way to get rid of thyroid nodules? Thank you. So here's the deal, and I'm assuming it's Leah, not Jacob. Here's the deal, is that thyroid nodules aren't always an indicator of, oh my gosh, you're going to have to take out your thyroid, you're going to have to, you're going to turn into thyroid cancer or any of these things. Nodules can come around for various reasons. Sometimes it's an inflammatory state. Sometimes it's different things can trigger that after a pregnancy, a little autoimmune flare, things like that. And they don't always go away. So my bigger concern is, what is your free T3 and your free T4, Leah? What is your TSH running? Have you checked your Hashimoto's markers, your anti-TPO and your anti-thyroglobulin? If you haven't looked at any of those things yet, then just saying, oh, how are we going to get rid of nodules? But if your thyroid's working great, you've got other things in your body to worry about. But if you've got Hashimoto's, if you've got Graves' disease, if you've got hypothyroid, if you've got hyper and your numbers are really high, then we've got to take that step back and say, how do we fix this? How do we go down that path of truly fixing this problem, as opposed to taking some iodine or rubbing some glutathione cream on there? There's different things that you can do to help with those nodules, but I want to make sure your thyroid is working good first, everything's stabilized, and you're not having an autoimmune. Leah, have you checked for Hashimoto's yet? Have you checked that anti-TPO and that anti-thyroglobulin? If you haven't, then you absolutely need to. So let me know, and we'll answer that question. Let me see what else we've got here. Okay, good. I think there's more. Not yet. I will. Thank you. Yes. So Leah, check some of my videos. Brittany, go ahead and pop down a link to the YouTube channel. If you guys have not registered, if you've not subscribed to the YouTube channel, that's where we put all of our videos. We've got hundreds and hundreds of videos on there, and it's a great place to search for information that you're looking for. Easier than TikTok, easier than Facebook, and you can just search thyroid videos, and you've got to look at certain markers. You've got to look for free and total T3 and T4. You've got to look at TSH, and you've got to look at those Hashimoto's markers. So that's going to be really, really helpful. We had some other questions this week. People were asking about, should they be taking testosterone replacement therapy or not? And here's the thing with testosterone replacement therapy, a lot of people say, I felt better for a few months, 2-3 months, and then I started having weight gain. Then my energy crashed again. And it didn't fix anything, because you didn't fix the why that your testosterone was low in the first place. And we see this so commonly with women. I mean, almost every man is low testosterone that we see now, but women all the time is what we're looking for. And so if you even 15 on your total testosterone, then you are going to be deficient and probably stealing to make more of that cortisol, make more of that fight or flight. So you've got to figure out why that brain is not working like it's supposed to and why it's revved up. So again, that testosterone low and just taking testosterone replacement does not fix anything. It is going to be a Band-Aid. It's going to cover it up, but you've got to still keep digging deeper. And then maybe you still need a touch, but it's going to be like a tenth of what you're taking now. Jennifer, good to see you, Jennifer. What are normal T3, T4 markers? I'm assuming you're saying what are the normal ranges. So we have normal ranges, and this is a really good point. We have normal ranges, which is the reference range that the lab says, oh, this is the okay area to be in. But then we have our optimal range. And so total T4, I like that at least 7. On the free T3, I like that at least 1.2. So you know these numbers. We've got the free T4 at 1.2 as well. So you know you want to be, if you're, and some of the labs, they have different decimal points than what we use. So it might say 0.8 versus 80, something like that. So look at those, and if you're try to get as close to the middle of what they say normal range is. If you're at the lower end or the higher end, you're either taking too much. If it's at the higher, too much thyroid medication. But if it's at the lower, then you are definitely going to be on that deficient side, just not out of their range yet. So shoot me over what your numbers are, and I can tell you. Post those and I can tell you what they are. Is the shingles vaccine a good thing to do for a person over 50 years, also has Sjogren's disease? So here's one of the things is that if you have Sjogren's and your autoimmune is revved up, you're probably not going to be getting some of these other things because your immune system is go, attack. If you're on immunosuppressants, then you may want to consider doing everything you can to support your immune system, because if you're on Sjogren's or you have MS or rheumatoid arthritis, any of those things, and you're on immunosuppressant, you're going to be more likely to have this viral flare-up. But again, for somebody that already has an autoimmune condition, to get a vaccine definitely can be a concern for my wife. She had her MMR booster going into college, and it triggered her autoimmune condition, and her body started attacking her platelets. They ended up removing her spleen and go, oh, now you're going to be fine. But they never fixed the why, and that's what we've spent the last 20 years doing, is getting her why and calming down that body. So yeah, I would be hesitant on putting much of anything into the body if you do already have autoimmune. Hey James, can you help someone dealing with something that presents as a movement disorder, possibly cervical dystonia? Yes, and so this is one of those that is going to be a little bit more complex than just, hey, let's stabilize your blood sugar and fix your leaky gut and do these different things. This is one of those, somebody asked earlier, would you prefer somebody come into the office? This is one of those that I would prefer somebody come into the office, and especially to our Fort Collins office. We have Dr. Jake. If you've seen anytime I bring him on for any of the neurologic, we just talked about it Monday. He was on, so check out those videos. One of the smartest guys I know, a neurologist in that functional realm, and can really help and figure out which part of the brain is out of balance and do that metabolic support. So best thing, James, would be to, if you can get to the Fort Collins office, we're about an hour north of Denver. A lot of people, they'll come in and even stay the night. We'll do an exam, blood work, brain map, everything, and see what's going on there and figure out those underlying whys. So absolutely, that's something that we deal with. A little bit more complex than that traditional Hashimoto's or leaky gut patient or whatever it is, but definitely there's things that can be done for that. So great question there. All right, guys, I don't see any more questions, but if you're watching this down the road and you've got questions, pop those down below. We keep an eye on all of our social media, and we will be interacting and giving you guys as much information as we can. If you haven't registered already for tonight, we have our 6 p.m. Mountain Time. It's a Zoom call, so we have a link. It's up in the comments here. or send us a direct message and we can get you registered for that. COVID long haul. If you or somebody you know, a loved one is still dealing with COVID symptoms, long haul symptoms, then you've got to get on this call. I'm going to go in depth, all the research, everything we're doing with patients, and going to get as much information you guys as possibly can. I'm just going to lay it out there, lay out, hey, this is exactly what you need to be doing to get your life back. And then in 2 weeks, on the 14th, we will be doing an autoimmune webinar, same time. It's going to be on 6 p.m. Mountain Time, and I will be getting in depth. If you are a loved one, we have that Sjogren's question there. If you are dealing with autoimmune, you've got to be on that call. It is. I'm going to bring it. It is one of my favorite webinars to talk about because so much information and it affects so many people. So. Love having you guys on there. Check out TikTok channel as well. Shortened questions, shortened videos. If you've got any questions, that's a great place to put them throughout the week, and I will answer those ASAP. Take care, guys.